Benvenuto. Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make penne alla vodka. Now, I don't know if this is a really traditional Italian recipe or maybe something that you'd get in Italy. My grandmother never made it for me. I know it was really popular in the United States in the 90s or so. And I actually had it not all that long ago for the first time, maybe 5-6 years ago. We were out on Valentine's Day for dinner, and we went to our favorite Italian restaurant, and it was the special. So I got it, and it's one of my favorite pasta dishes. So anyway, this, like I said, this is not a traditional recipe. This is my recipe of a conglomerate of different recipes that I've looked at and I've made over the years. Some call for pancetta, some don't. Some of them call for chicken. A lot of them don't. We're going to make what I've kind of developed over the years, what I like the best. All right, so of course, what do we need? Since we're making penne alla vodka, we need penne. This is my favorite brand of dried pasta. Now, I've got my water on the stove boiling, but I'm not going to get my penne ready until my sauce is at the stage where it's simmering. We'll talk a little bit more about pasta, but follow the directions on the box of how to cook it. All right, then, of course, the next thing is you need, or one of the next things, is vodka. Now, we're not going to use that much vodka, half a cup, 2/3 of a cup, somewhere in around there. The alcohol is going to evaporate. It's one of those recipes, though, if you don't want to use vodka, it's not penne alla vodka. You could certainly make everything else in this recipe, omitting the vodka, and then you're just going to have penne in a tomato cream sauce, which will be delicious as well. But anyway, we're going to need some vodka. We need some pancetta. All right, so pancetta, this is so easy to get. I can't think of a supermarket that doesn't sell it. I like to get it already diced because it's less prep work. You're going to need about 8 ounces of that. All right, we need some nice Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. You can use Romano cheese, Pecorino. I personally like the Parmigiana better. All right, and we're going to need some salt and pepper, some dried oregano. Some recipes call for some basil, some fresh basil at the end. One of the other ingredients that you're going to need, of course, is some canned tomatoes. If you can get the San Marzanos, those are the best for this recipe. The tomatoes, I think, are a little bit sweeter, and it kind of blends well. If you can't get the San Marzano, or you don't want to spend a little bit extra for them, certainly use your favorite canned tomatoes, plum tomatoes. You can get the whole. I happen to like to get the crushed. And also, the important thing with this one is this has got some basil and a little bit of sea salt in it too. So this has already got the basil in it, so I'm not going to put the fresh basil in at the end, which I never do anyway, even if I don't have it with the basil in it. That's your choice. Okay, then we need about half a cup to 2/3 to a cup of heavy cream, room temperature if possible. I don't know if it's a scientific thing, but I find that if it's at room temperature, it has less of a propensity to separate when you mix everything together. Of course, we're going to need some good olive oil to saute our onions. So we need some onions, and we need some garlic. And believe it or not, I think that's it. Again, this is one of those dishes. It's a few ingredients. It's delicious, and the better tomatoes and cheese you can get, the better the dish is going to be. All right, let's get cooking. Okay, so to start out, we've got our heavy bottom pan. You can use a big frying pan if you have it. I like to use this a Dutch oven. I've got this on medium low. Just going to let it heat up. Just going to do a rough chop of your onions, guys. These are going to cook down quite a bit. So you're going to need about a half a cup of onions, of yellow onion. Again, it's one of those things. I find yellow onion works the best in this recipe. So you're going to need about a half a cup or about half of a large or a medium onion. All right, so my pan is warmed up a bit. I'm going to put some olive oil, if it will, the top will come off, in. So you're probably going to need about 2-3 tablespoons. We want it to coat the bottom of the pan well. All right. And we'll get our onions in there. Yeah. We'll give them a little stir, let them start sauteing. Well, I just kind of, again, guys, I've shown you how I do this many times. I guess everybody has their own way of chopping garlic. Give it a good bang. It should come out nicely. All the skin. All right, so we got 3 nice sized cloves of garlic. And you want to chop these up relatively small. Doesn't have to be minced, but some people don't like getting a big chunk of garlic. All right, we'll give these a stir. And we're going to get our pancetta in there. So now I've kind of what I've done with this recipe is this is for a pound of pasta. So I like about 8 ounces of the prosciutto. And we want to let that saute till the onions are translucent and your prosciutto is going to start to brown lightly. At this point, I'm going to put it up to medium. Because we don't want to put our garlic in at this point because garlic will burn very quick in your oil and garlic gets very bitter when it's burnt. And again, it's one of those things you want to kind of stick by the pot. Don't go starting watching a movie. Because of course we don't want our pancetta to burn either. All right, that's going to take about 5 minutes. We got our garlic done. And we'll be back when that starts to brown. Okay, it's been just a little over 5 minutes. You guys can all see our prosciutto has started to brown. We got a little bit of brown bits on the bottom. Everything's smelling delicious. I'm going to turn the heat down to low. All right, we're going to add our garlic. let that just kind of, that heavy garlic taste mellow out a little bit in the oil and the heat. Probably about 30 seconds to a minute. And just keep stirring it so everything mixes well together. And you get that hint of the garlic. Say that again.
It's on the other side.
Oop. Yeah, what are you doing up there? All right, so now we've turned our heat down to low, and we're gonna put our vodka in. And that's about half a cup, 2/3 a cup of vodka. All right, so I'm going to turn this up to medium high. Okay, and we're going to let that simmer, and we're going to allow the alcohol in the vodka to evaporate. All right, and that's going to take a good 3, 4, 5 minutes. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, we've been just at about 5 minutes. I don't know if you guys can tell, but our vodka has reduced. Now, instead of the alcohol, we've just got the vodka flavor in there. And you can also see, come back in 1 second, hon. I don't know if you can see, but it kind of tightens up the olive oil. And of course, good olive oil has got good HDL in it. All right, so at this point, we're going to add our nice, beautiful tomatoes. Give that a stir. Now we're going to bring this, we're going to add our salt, pepper, and oregano. Again, I've done that in half teaspoons each. We're not going to really add a whole lot more salt to this. We'll test. But this has got the cheese, and of course our pasta is going to be seasoned. So, all right, so we're going to turn this back up to medium. All right, and we want to bring this back up to the simmer. Of course, our cheese and our heavy cream are going to be the last to go in. I'm just a couple big chunks of tomatoes in there. I'm just kind of breaking them up a little bit. And that's going to take a couple minutes to come back to the simmer. Okay, we've come to a simmer, maybe a little bit higher. All right, but at this point, you want to turn your heat source down to a simmer, which is slightly below 200, 190 or so. If you can, if you're able to adjust it on your stove, adjust it to about 185, 190. All right, so now we're going to let this sit here and get all happy simmering for about 15 to 20 minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to start our pasta. All right, so follow me on over to the stove. Let me see if my water's boiling yet. Yeah, not quite. I'm going to turn it up to high, and I'll be back when it comes to a boil. All right, we're at a nice rolling boil. Okay, now, a couple very important things when you're cooking pasta, okay? First of all, I said follow the directions on the box, okay? There is a lot of water in here. There's 6 quarts. General rule of thumb, for 1 pound of pasta, you need 6 quarts of water. So if you're making 2 pounds, you need 12. That's very important because a lot of people say my pasta sticks because you're not using enough water. It's not a suggestion. You have to have 6 quarts. All right. Then, of course, the next important thing is salt. I always use sea salt, and that's about 2 tablespoons. I've gotten used to that over the years. We'll give that a stir. So one of the other things, too, you always want to remember, wait to add your salt until your waters come to a boil, because if you don't, it might pit the bottom of your pan. Large, of course, sea salt. All right, so our water's boiling. I'm gonna put our pasta in, give it a good stir. All right, this takes between 10 and 12 minutes to al dente. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pour your water in and you're gonna bring it back to the boil. Very important, bring it back to a good rolling boil. And then we're gonna get 2 seconds more. There we are, we're back at a nice rolling boil. All right, give it another little stir and set your timer. I'm going to set a timer for 11 minutes. Okay, Google, set a timer for 11 minutes.
All right, 11 minutes. And
All right.
we're starting now.
In roughly 11 minutes, we should have beautifully al dente pasta. See you then. Okay, our sauce has been simmering for just about 15, 16 minutes. Should be good. We've got about 2.5 minutes left on our pasta being done. Now I've turned our heat down to low. And we're going to slowly start to pour our cream in. And mixing it together. Really becomes what your preference is, how much cream you want. It should kind of be a nice pinky color. And I'm at about close to a cup. I think that's pretty. And I'll incorporate it in there. And then we're going to add our cheese. And I'm going to actually turn it off at this point, as the pot is hot. Everything else, you don't want to cook the cheese, you want to melt it. Give it a quick taste. Pretty good if I do say so myself. All right. We've got just about a minute for our pasta. See you in a minute. Okay, our pasta's been cooking for our 11 minutes. I'm going to take a little bit of the pasta water before I drain it. We'll reserve that just in case we need that. Sometimes it's good to have that little bit of extra water if you want to thin everything out. All right, so if I can get this to the sink without scalding myself, which I did. All right, got that drained. I'm going to throw this over here for now. Now, of course, never, ever, ever rinse your pasta. All right? If you rinse your pasta, hundreds of thousands of grandmothers in Italy will cry. All right? I'm going to throw it in our bowl. Let me go grab a ladle. In our water, just in case. That's just at about the consistency I like the sauce to be. Get another. And we're going to give this a nice toss. And of course, when you use a tubular macaroni or spaghetti or pasta like the penne, all that deliciousness is going to make its way inside the tubes. Of course, I forgot to mention you're going to have some extra Parmigiano Reggiano cheese so your family or guests can sprinkle that on top. And give this a pick up and see what we can get out of there. All right. Make sure you get all your pasta mixed in. I'm going to use a little tiny bit of our water. That water's got a lot of starch in it, so that will also help coat everything. Oop, hey, he got away. Okay, do a little cleanup on your serving platter. Let me taste this one that fell away. Perfectly cooked pasta. Delicious. All right, there you have it. My take on pasta, or I should say penne alla vodka. Okay, now the best part, eating. We got our penne alla vodka and we got our beautiful garlic bread. Salute.
Salute.
Got a little bit of extra cheese to put on top. I did it in little slices or slivers.
Oh, it looks so pretty. So decorative.
Amazing. Alright, what do we want to try first? Pasta?
Do the pasta, yeah.
Alright, dig in. Let me see. Delicious.
That is good.
Perfectly cooked pasta. It's still got a nice little chew to it. Delicious.
It is delicious, very good.
Delicious. If I do say so myself. Alright, I'm going to take a piece of our garlic bread. Truth be told, we have been munching on it. We've had a couple pieces, so we already know it's good.
That's good too.
Not overly garlic,
Yeah.
although you're still going to have to brush your teeth well before.
Yeah, please.
But it's nice, fresh. Good, nice, fresh taste to it.
Very nice Italian meal.
Well, that's all I have to say. I'm going to finish eating. Well, no, that's not all I have to say. I hope that you all enjoyed watching this with us. I hope you all make it. And now that's all I have to say.
Yes, please like and subscribe and check out cherryhillhomecooking.com, and we'll see you on the next video.
Ciao.
Bye.